Some coaches seem capable of engineering an identity for the clubs they manage, whether that be putting their trust in youth, keeping possession of the football, winning it back from the opposition, or being defensively sound. These coaches create a blueprint, a DNA. But can this be replicated in Football Manager? Well, we're going to investigate in this video. So we want to try and create a DNA for the clubs we manage in Football Manager, but what do we even mean by a footballing DNA? Well, for me, DNA is how you embed a philosophy at a football club. This philosophy could be based on attacking the opposition, being solid in defence, or being able to outrun your opponents. Perhaps the best place to start when creating your DNA is the club vision screen, because depending on who you're managing, the DNA might already be selected for you. For example, at Manchester City, it's already a board requirement that you will play attacking, entertaining football with a focus on retaining possession. Whereas at other clubs, particularly those in lower leagues, you might have more of a blank canvas when creating your DNA. But once you've selected your chosen footballing philosophy, the next task is to start embedding it in your squad. But how do you create a squad that can bring your vision for how football should be played to life? Well, perhaps the first thing you can do is to change your squad view in-game. For example, does knowing that Ederson is Brazilian, 6'2" and 27 years old really help create your footballing philosophy? And when you click on a player and there are so many attributes to look at, can you always tell what kind of footballer matches your vision? Well, by customizing the squad view, it might help us decide what our philosophy is, as well as looking at which players might fit our style of play. To do this, it might help to display on the squad screen some of the attributes that we think are crucial to how we want to play the game. For example, if we want to create a possession-based DNA at a club like Manchester City, then attributes such as first touch, passing and technique might be three that we insist on all of the players in our squad. In terms of mental attributes, anticipation, composure, decision-making, off-the-ball movement, vision and work rate might all be integral to our plans, as well as having physical attributes such as agility and balance to help us maintain possession of the ball. This may help us to identify players that are not perfect for our DNA. For example, Kyle Walker may seem like the ideal attacking wingback. However, in terms of helping us play a possession-based game, his attributes might be below those of his teammates. And a customized squad view might also help us work out which players are perfect for our system, with players such as Bernardo Silva scoring highly in all of our key attribute areas. But if we had an alternative DNA, we might select different attributes to show in our squad screen. For example, if our philosophy was based around hard work and winning the ball back, we might select attributes such as stamina and natural fitness, prioritizing the physical over the technical. We might also have a focus on decision-making, determination, teamwork and work rate to help us implement a high press. And then only once we've won the ball back will we think about first touch passing and technique. But even if we're not managing one of Europe's leading sides, focusing on key attributes in the squad view might help us develop our footballing identity. If we're managing in the lower leagues, we might focus on a narrower range of attributes. For example, if we're perennial underdogs and we want to focus on being combative and resilient, well, this squad view would allow us to see which players have the bravery, determination, teamwork, work rate, as well as the stamina and natural fitness that we require, allowing us to see which players might not suit our DNA and which players might be integral to our system. But to create a long-lasting DNA at your club, as well as having the right players, you also need to have the right tactics. If our philosophy is all about maintaining possession of the football, then tactical decisions like playing more direct and hitting early crosses might not suit the DNA we're trying to build, whereas a system focused on movement, shorter passing and playing out of defence might allow us to bring our DNA to life on the pitch. But in order to make sure that your footballing philosophy is long-term, we'll need to make sure that any players we recruit fit our DNA as well. And this is where our scouting assignments might come in useful, because as we instruct our scouts to go and look for talent in different parts of the world, we can make sure that they prioritise attributes that are central to the way that we want to play, and we can even set minimum values for them to search for. So custom squad views, tactics and scouting assignments can all play a role in embedding our philosophy at the club that we're managing. but so too can the staff that we hire. Often when hunting for staff, I find that I'm wowed by attributes without really thinking whether they'll fit my DNA. For example, Rui Faria looks like the perfect coach, but if we were to customize our screen when viewing staff, and rather than focus on information such as their wage or their contract expiration date, we could instead create a view that allows us to see their coaching style, playing mentality, marking style, as well as their preferred formations and their pressing priorities. And if we were hiring a coach for Manchester City, we might decide that Rui Faria's obsession with direct styles of play and a very cautious playing mentality might mean that as great a coach as he is, he's not the right one for us. Whereas coaches with adventurous playing mentalities or a focus on a passing playing style might fit our DNA better. And when embedding a DNA at a club, it's not just bringing in the right coaches that's crucial. Having the right head of youth development can be important as well, because again, just focusing on attributes can be a bit of a trap. If we were hiring a new head of youth development for Liverpool, then Pablo Blanco may seem ideal. He's a model professional with working with youngsters of 20, and his mental attributes are superb. But using a customizable staff screen, we can see that he prefers a very cautious playing mentality, as well as a long ball footballing philosophy. Coupled with his focus of not liking to press the opposition very often, it might mean that this head of youth development isn't right for the club that we're managing. So bringing in like-minded staff might be another tool when developing your footballing philosophy at a club. But we might have another trick up our sleeve as well, because it makes sense that if we want to play a certain style, we should train our players accordingly. The training schedule on screen may be perfect for some clubs, but at Manchester City, where we have a focus on trying to maintain possession of the football, a week dedicated to the defensive and the physical might not help embed our philosophy. And because we're training our players on a daily basis, it can be an integral way of trying to ingrain our philosophy on the playing squad. So if our philosophy was the belief that possession of the football was crucial, sessions such as attacking patience, possession, ball distribution and playing from the back might be perfect to help us build the attributes we're looking for and the tactical awareness that we require. Through a mix of good fortune and a healthy bank balance, it may still be possible to achieve success in Football Manager without a coherent DNA, but with one, you might find that the trophies come over a longer period. And if you're looking for more videos about how to link your training to your chosen style of play, check out this one by Leah Damus next.